Hi and welcome to all for another session on artificial intelligence projects. We will be discussing about a couple of projects in this session, which is basically a depression warning system and an automated meeting summary system. As first part, we will discuss each of the solution and its different technology blocks and a brief demo. So stay tuned and stay with me till the end of the video to get a complete understanding of various systems which we are talking about. The first case is a depression early warning system. You might be aware of the fact that increasing number of people are getting into the depression in the modern society. Worldwide, around 8 million people are reported to be getting suicide every year due to it. So, let's start with social media based depression prediction system. As I mentioned, the data set for this study would be extracting out from social media feed. Let's take an example of Twitter, right? So a Twitter data would be giving enough signal for evaluating somebody's mental state. Let's take the case of Twitter. How do we get the data extracted out from the Twitter site? We can use tweet libraries, an advanced Twitter scraping tool which is written in Python. So you may have a natural question like the Python is having Twitter APIs to do this. Comes with a bunch of advantage over the native API. Like this can be scrapped tweet from the specific user or in an entire, using various conditions. This will allow us to get down the Twitter tweets. And there are a couple of advantages over the APIs. Like it can help to fetch almost all kind of tweets, where the Twitter API is limited to 32,000 last tweet and things like that. This comes with no such limitations on that. It's pretty easy to set up this system. Set up this in the system so that it will be like a quick start. In single command, you can go ahead and install it. The major advantage which I am really excited is you can be anonymous. You don't need to be using any kind of user to go and extract the data. You can anonymously get down every data based on the person, based on the location, based on the keywords, and so much of options are given. Okay, once we install the library in the terminal, let's look at the terminal to see how exactly this behaves. So let's execute the basic search, say like Donald Trump street, and with a keyword like loser, right? So let's see where it goes. And now what you are seeing in the console is the hundreds of strings which is matching this criteria, right? So this is exactly how this tool works and get us. So we can go ahead and change each of the parameters and the conditions and the keywords in the exact way what we wanted to extract out the content. Now we got the data, right? So we have talked about getting the data down, right? Once the data is down, then we need to extract it out of, remove some of the commonly used or non-meaningful words out from there and understand the appropriate keyword which makes sense for our analytics. Now, how do we compare, right? So we build a system, we build a kind of benchmarking, sentiments, and now we compare whether these incoming words are really comparably equal to that, or so how far these words are going to each of this basket, right? So now where to work does that work pretty well for us. Like basically what it does is it converts every word to a numerical equivalent to that. It's a bit different algorithm altogether. Like it converts initially assume that you have given cat, and the cat will be converted, word to work library will convert that into kind of equivalent number, and every word does so. So that a number to number comparison will give a kind of vector, how far it is or how far it is closer to those words which we have benchmarked for representing each of the sentiments of it, right? Now let's summarize what we have discussed so far, right? So we have identified the data, which is basically from the social feeds. We have identified an appropriate mechanism how to extract that in case of Twitter. We have similar things which the PyPy we'll have hundreds of library available in PyPy and GitHub for doing that. Once the data is down, we extract that data and cleansing the data, which we need to remove some of the commonly used is, was, that, and those kind of not much meaningful expressions from the entire data. Then we normalize the data. We identify what is that need to be considered for doing this exercise, and look at what kind of sentiments it carries. So we extract and we identify the desired feature which is required to evaluate it, to understand somebody's sentiments out of that. We have also identified a model which can do this exercise pretty much. So train this model with the kind of data, and which kind of data model, and compare the incoming data with that, which does the depression classification in various stages as we define, and that will give an output for the output for the alert or early warning system for the system. Okay. So I have given all the libraries link below in the description box, so that you can go ahead and directly jump into each of that. We will have a separate session of building each of the system which we are discussing. So let me know it in the comment, so that we can have another video on that. So let's move to the next. It's the second session in the series covering an AI-powered summarization bot, a multi-purpose summarization tool which can be used as a productivity accelerator at modern office. We will be discussing about various building blocks to build the system, along with a brief technology demo. So please stay tuned and watch till the end of the video to have a complete understanding. As mentioned, this would be a multi-purpose productivity accelerator utility application and can be applied in various areas of day-to-day business scenario. The tool can be used as a document summary generation system, which can take input from a large document, and the system will be automatically generating the content summary at high level. In this case, the system would be capable of accepting the input as text files, and the result will be the summary of the content. As a second case, this system can also be used for summarizing the points discussed in voice-based meetings. This summary can be filed for office records purpose as like auto-generated MOMs for the records. The system is expected to take the input for the voice conversation and convert the voice into text, then summarize the text as point discussed. Finally, these points can be intimated to everyone in the mail and record it as the points discussed in the meeting automatically, without somebody is manually interfering the minutes of meeting. Third and most important usage of this utility would be to monitor the customer interaction and identify the current customer sentiments based on various conversations. The input in this case from multiple sources like the customer emails or the voice conversation or even social media interactions about the product or the services which is delivered. So let's look at how we implement the text summarization. Using a deep learning model, the system can understand and convert the text summary from a large document and document it much effectively as like human beings. Verbal or voice-based meeting can be summarized using various voice recognition and natural language processing blocks of artificial intelligence services. As mentioned earlier, the customer sentiments from various means like the phone or even emails, etc., can also be extracted automatically, and this can be considered as a parameter to measure the customer success. As part of the data processing, once the data is collected, cleansing and identification would be the next step to build the system. Multiple LSTM models are required for building an encoder and decoder model to achieve text summarization. TensorFlow along with Keras would provide the basic infrastructure to build entire building blocks to achieve this. Let me know if you are looking for a detailed video on this, as we need to have a separate session for the coding. There are better and faster way to do the same thing using the APIs provided by the public cloud hosting services like Azure, Amazon, or even GCP. If you go through the comparison chart, you'll find out the Amazon and Azure provides almost same set of services. However, the GCP stands out in the list. GCP is in the same line of the TensorFlow as well as the Keras as we discussed previously, and they are the one who is providing the maximum number of services and most flexible services in this case. Let's look at Microsoft Azure Managed Services demo for text processing, the content summarization as well as the sentiment analysis. These services are provided with rich set of APIs to leverage and integrate these functionalities along with our application seamlessly. So it would be more worth to take a look at these services before we start building it as a standalone system. Let's take as an example of a positive case of positive sentence and see how the services are provided. The analytic engine has summarized the summary. The sentiments of this text is already identified as positive. If you look at a negative case, similarly, the text is already identified with its sentiments as negative. So, this would be the fastest way of building such an application, and integration would be more seamless. Thanks for your time and looking forward to meet you on following sessions.